on, you guys? It's your boy Alex West Collects here, bringing you the most in-depth action figure reviews here on YouTube. And we have today the Chase and Standard version of Paul Bearer within WWE Mattel Elite Series 106. If you are interested in grabbing any of these figures, they are now available and shipping from ringsidecollectibles.com. When you guys shop there, use promo code 4LIFE. It'll save you 10% off your order. So, the blue version here is the Chase. It is the rare figure. Your standard version is the more traditional Paul Bearer look. I love the idea of giving us a Chase Paul Bearer. I feel like this is a fun one. You're not going to see him in the line too often, so why not give us two figures that I think most people are going to need for the collection, if you ask me. I believe this is more of his later run. I think he was Kane's manager at this point. He had the brown hair and the blue suit he used to wear. And then you got more your traditional look, more of the actual funeral parlor Paul Bearer. You can see he does have your black suit here. The skin is a lot paler. I really do. This is a fun Chase, right? It's not just like they changed the outfit. You can even see the skin tone. He's definitely more tan as he was at that time within the blue suit. And then you can see the nice kind of bigger circles around his eyes, the lighter skin tone. Phenomenal job by Mattel. I'm so excited to have this in hand. You can see he also does come with two different urns. So I believe that urn, I want to say, is the same. We'll definitely do some comparisons. I do have all of the Elite Paul Bearers, the Build-A-Figure, and was it the Hall of Champions? I don't know. I get so confused with those Target exclusives because they flipped it from Hall of Fame to Hall of Champions. But I do have that Paul Bearer in my collection too. And those were a lot smaller. They even went up and plussed up the size of Paul Bearer. So this is going to be a fun one. If you can't tell, I'm super excited. You get the bigger urn. You get a set of interchangeable hands. The boxes for these figures are the same. You'll see the Chase and the Standard do have the same box. So there's no difference in that. You'll get the image of Paul Bearer, the little nameplate here. On the side, you will see the same nameplate, Paul Bearer. You'll get the same large image on the side. One of my favorite managers, if not my favorite manager of all time, is Paul Bearer. You'll see the other figures in the wave, the Little Rita. Oh, yes! One of my favorites, of course. Let's come back, crack Paul Bearer out of the packaging, and see what these figures are all about. The first version of Paul Bearer that we're taking is the standard version in the black, and it looks so awesome. Let's take a look at all the accessories he does come with. So you do get a set of the more open hands. They're not the mic open holding hands, more like the choke slam hands. You get a little more grip to them. You get two sets of these gesturing hands for him to do kind of like a creepy pose. I really do like that they included this. You get this little urn that we have seen before from Mattel. You can see it has a nice kind of like shine to it. So if you look at the earlier versions, a little more dull, if you can see that. This is like a brighter kind of gold, but is the same size urn. If you look at what's in his hands, though, this is a gigantic urn. Remember, they used to open this up and that light would shoot out. It's so freaking sick. Look at the size of that thing. And he can hold it if you can position him right. The top actually does open too. Put an LED in there or something, and you can get kind of like that beam of light shooting out. It looks pretty good if you guys want to see. Just kind of clasp onto the top here. Sits on there pretty good, just like a bottle cap or something. But it is big in size if you guys want to compare the two urns that come with this Paul Bearer. You see how gigantic this is. And this figure itself, speaking of gigantic, my God, they did this figure justice. I mean, let's be honest. Let's not cut the corners anywhere here. Paul Bearer was a large man. And this figure definitely portrays that look. It really has some size. I will say, for a figure that looks to be like very big, it is very light, surprisingly. I don't know why, but take a look underneath. You will see how big his torso is, right? You get this kind of like old school tie with the purple and the blue and the red. Looks awesome. If you look on the inside, they actually did paint the torso black. Let me zoom in. If you guys did purchase that Ruthless Aggression Eric Bischoff figure, they did the same thing here where they painted the inner torso black to match the jacket. So when you look from the side, you do not see any of the white shirt seeping through. I love that. Mattel, thank you so much for doing that. That was such a clever idea. No one is going to take this jacket off and have Paul Bearer walking around with two sleeves and the collared shirt underneath. So that makes total sense to me. The belt buckle, unfortunately, is just painted on, over nicely molded, but you will see that is a big piece, and that is a big man. Even the legs for a suited body, it is huge. You can see they are pinless legs. They are pinless arms as well. As far as the head sculpt, let's zoom in. Let me adjust the camera for you guys. That is Paul Bearer to a T. Look at that. My God, like they really did nail it. I mean, from the way the hair is sculpted on his head to the purple or black around his eyes, the mustache, the double chin. Like, this is a home run beyond a home run. Take a look at the back. Oh my lord, I am so happy with this figure. It just turned out so great. And if you guys want to get a quick close-up of this tie while we're at it. But he does have some girth to him. You want to do a quick articulation for Uncle Paul here. I don't know how much movement you're really going to use him for, but head fully rotates. The arm does go up about that much. You do get some bicep rotation, double jointed pinless elbows. The hands fully rotate. They also do hinge here. He does have a diaphragm joint, so you get a little bit of movement here with the diaphragm. There is waist hinge here as well. These legs do a full split about that much. That's pretty good, man. I don't think Paul Bearer ever did that. Does he have drop down hips? I was just about to lose my shit if he does, man. I don't think he does. I thought for a second he did because I know some of the Build-A-Figure parts do come with that. Is he on ball joints? I know a lot of people are going to ask. It looks like it. The pocket or the socket goes in so deep, but I want to say he is on ball joints. You do get a thigh cut here. You do get these double jointed knees. I will say that probably doesn't look aesthetically pleasing on these suited figures, but it is what it is. The feet do hinge up and down. There really is not much of a rocker on there, but some good movement for a large man in Paul Bearer. I am over the moon with this figure. It's so good. And for a few Paul Bearer with some Undertaker figures here. So I know some of these may not be the accurate time frame when Paul Bearer was the Undertaker's manager, but just some of my favorite takers I wanted to bring in to give you some ideas of how he kind of stacks up versus the Dead Man. So on the left, we have the Survivor Series Ultimate here from his debut look. This is a custom one I did up for more of a new gen kind of look based off of that Elite. I converted it to an Ultimate. On the back, we have the Ultimate Edition figure. I know this is based off of WrestleMania 14, where Paul Bearer was not his manager, but just again to give you an idea of how this Elite Paul Bearer stacks up. And probably one of my favorite versions of Undertaker. I love the Purple Glove Taker. I feel like this figure needs to be redone ASAP. As an Ultimate, I would love to see that come to fruition. Moving on to the Chase version of Paul Bearer here in the blue suit. As far as the accessories go, you do get the same accessories as the standard version. So you get two of the more open hands here. You will notice the skin tone is darker. They are not that white pale skin tone that comes on the standard. So I do like that. You also get these gesturing hands here, as well as the open hands on the figure. Also the smaller urn and the larger urn that we did take a look at. These are not any different from standard to the Chase version, but the suit, as well as the skin tone and the hair on this figure, are very different. So in my mind, this is kind of his later run with WWE, where he kind of is Kane's manager. I feel like for the most part, though, I do remember him not having a mustache at one point. Maybe there was a time frame where he did. That's only the thing that's kind of throwing me off, but he does have the lighter brown hair versus the jet black hair on this standard version. The skin tone obviously is a little more tan. He's got the brown mustache. You will see the color of the tie is also the same. He's got more of a red and gold look here with a lighter blue shirt versus the white. You will see they also did paint the blue here on the side of the torso, so you will not see the shirt seeping through. Absolutely love that. Same double jointed pinless elbows, double jointed pinless knees for your Paul Bearer. I love that the jacket opens. You will see the button detailing and the sculpting of the jacket as well. Articulation is going to be the same. So for the most part, I'm not trying to rush through this figure at all, but for everything else is obviously the same, but just the look of it and the aesthetics are going to be what's glaringly different. For a few quick comparisons here, so like I said earlier, I personally remember him wearing the blue suit with the brown hair when he was Kane's manager, father, whatever you want to call him. So we do have the Ultimate Edition Kane here on the left to pair with your Chase Paul Bearer. And if you were curious, we also did bring back this Ultimate Edition Undertaker. Bringing both of the Elite 106 Paul Bearers side by side here, you can see the stark differences between the two. Let's bring them in a little closer. You can see the difference in the skin tone, in the face, the suit. And I'll be honest, for the most part, like Mattel Chase figures aren't really too different, right? You'll get like a different deco hit, or maybe he'll come with red trunks versus blue trunks or something like that. The boots are a little different. This figure or this set, it feels like a true Chase that is completely different from the standard Mattel formula. You get a different hair color, different mustache color. There is no black around the eyes of the Chase. The skin tone is different. The tie is different. The suit color is different. Like I said, this just feels like a true Chase, and Mattel really knocked it out of the park. For your Mattel Paul Bearer comparison, so we have a few of them. I know a lot of people who had missed out on these Paul Bearer Elites really were paying an arm and a leg on the secondary market to add them to your collection. But fear no more, the best Paul Bearers are released now with Elite 106. You can see on the very left here, we have the Hall of Champions figure, which was great for its time. But look at the size difference, man. Look at how much more girth that is included in the Elite 106 versus the Hall of Champions. I do like the screaming scan on this figure itself, but
I feel like this head sculpt and the finish on it is just, it's breathtaking to say the least. On the very right here, this was a Build-A-Figure set. I actually got this from Canada. One of my buddies went up there, got the Build-A-Figure set for me, and I was able to complete my pallbearer. I feel like they did release this in another Build-A-Figure wave. I don't really remember. It just was so long ago, but for some reason, this didn't make it out to market all over the place as a full release, and not everyone was able to find it. So the Hall of Champions was the next readily available, and that set was even really hard to find. So now him being in the main Elite line gives you an opportunity to add the best versions of pallbearer to your collection. If you guys have enjoyed this review, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me grow this channel and bring you some more great content. And while you're at it, please turn on those notification bells to stay tuned to the newest action figure reviews here on my channel. As far as these Elite 106 pallbearer figures, I think you know where I stand. You need these for your collection without a doubt. They are the best versions ever released anywhere in any other toy line. Mattel knocked it out of the park. These figures are great. The head sculpts are phenomenal. The size of these figures are great. I love the suit. They went the extra mile. They even painted the inside of the armpit so the shirt didn't seep through the side of the jacket. I can't say enough good things about it. You get 2 different size urns, a bunch of interchangeable hands. I do want to correct myself here in the review. I will say the skin tones are different on the head and on the neck of the body, but the hands are the same color skin tone. At first, I thought the standard version had more of the whitish tone, but as you can see, the hands are the same. I wanted to make that correction before we end this video, but other than that, these figures are really fun. They're going to pose great with the Undertaker and Kane figures, and like I said, they are a must. They are available now at ringsidecollectibles.com. When you guys shop, use discount code 4LIFE to save 10% off your order. I think you need both. Don't just get one or the other. I think you really will need both of these pallbearers for your collection. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review, but before you go, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at AlexWestCollects. I will catch you all on the next one.